A music conductor may look like someone who is just waving their arms and music happens, which is actually only 1/3 of the job. A music conductor is a wide variety between choirs to instrumental to all types of music. As long as there is someone standing waving their arms around, you can call them a conductor. But waving their arms around is really not the only thing they do. A music conductor is much more than just waving of arms. It is broken up into study, rehearsal, and performance. It's studying the score to know exactly what they need to do and knowing the score. It's rehearsing to get a connection with the ensemble, preparing them for the performance, and it's finally the conductor's favorite part, which is the performance of the piece and pieces they've been working on. So first, let's look at score study. So a conductor will receive a score, pick out a score, pick a song that they want to do with their ensemble, whether it be a piece they want to sing with their choir or an orchestral piece. And the conductor will sit down with the score and study it. Now, studying is many different things, from writing at the dynamics, which is how loud or soft or how the piece is supposed to be played or sung, to the speed of the piece, to the difficult sections, whether it's too high, it's too fast, or things like this. And the conductor has to sit down, look, mark up everything, and know the piece. But the conductor also has to know the piece inside and out. According to an article on timrainish.com titled Score Study Part 2, Some Thoughts on Score Study, written by Mark Heron, accessed on March 27th, 2020, it says, quote, "Knowing the score is one of the most important aspects of the conductor's role. Musicians are usually not stupid, and even a relatively inexperienced amateur can tell when the conductor is bluffing. Therefore, it is vital that the conductor has a much in-depth knowledge as possible of the document, which offers the best insight into the composer's intention," end quote. So the conductor has to know the piece. They have to know what they're conducting and have to know it. And this comes through score study. And knowing all of this, knowing through and through, they're able to show this to the ensemble, which is what is in the next part, which is rehearsing. So since now we've talked about score study, let's move on to the second part, which is rehearsal. Rehearsing with an ensemble is very important for the conductor and the ensemble. This is where they build a connection. The conductor must have a good relationship with his singers or her players, he or her, and they have to know exactly what they are doing, and so the players will respect them, as said up in earlier on a conductor knowing the score. So first, if we look at an article, according to an article on carltopillo.com titled "The Rehearsal, Preparing for a Successful Concert," written by Carl Topillo, accessed on March 27, 2020, it says, quote, "The rehearsal is where the game is won or lost, well before the concert day. The tone that is set and the atmosphere that is created will determine the success of the concert. Once you have finished your preparation for the concert, the rehearsal is where the work gets done." So, this really talks about how the ensemble has to know that the conductor's prepared. And if the conductor is prepared, they can work, show the things that they marked down, show the things that they wanted to point out, and then rehearse the really hard parts of the ensemble. It needs to take time. So after all of that, after the score prep, the rehearsal, it's finally time for the performance. So now that we've talked about rehearsing, let's go to the favorite part of the performers and the conductor, the performance. The performance of the piece has many different things. Is it a recording? Is it performing in a grand hall? Is it performing for a nursing home? It's many things. It's where you get to show the music that you have prepared. This is really what many conductors will talk about as their favorite part, because they get to show off the group that they prepared and the work that they all put in. It's the most pride that a conductor can have. And it sometimes with some people it borders with arrogance, but most will just be happy that they can show off all the hard work they did. It's usually not selfish. According to an article from the Listeners Club website titled "How Important Are Conductors?" written by Timothy Judd, written on June 29th, 2016, it says, quote, "The motion of the tip of the baton from one point in the air to another becomes a universal language, signifying the rhythmic meter of the music. Cues give musicians confidence that they're coming in at the right time," end quote. So the action of waving their arms, if they have a baton, which is a stick that is pointed so people in the orchestra or singers far away can see it, using that, they know where they need to come in, where they need to do according to this quote. And that really goes back to the trust that is built between ensemble and conductor. So the conductor waves their arms, they get many, many hours of score study, and they finally get to rehearse with their ensemble, which goes into work, trust, and everything, and it finally relates to the performance, which is everyone's favorite part. So conductor, they may wave their arms, and this looks like all they do, but going back to all the time that it takes, waving their arms is their favorite part, and it's the part that is most rewarding. And so next time you see a conductor, just be thankful for all the time they put in so they get to be happy and show off the group, the orchestra, the choir, the musicians that they prepared so long for.